Welcome again.
Thank you.
AgriFair 2.0 happening again. Why was it even necessary to do it again? Because I have people say to me, even myself, I bought rice from the last one. I'm fine. I'm okay. Why is it important we have this done again?
But for now, you're a single man. For now, key phrase. For now, you're a single man. People have families. By now, their rice is finished.
That's true.
And if you have grown boys, you how much do you eat? A whole lot.
I know.
You have teenage boys, 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds, they're going to finish all the food. No, but why are we doing it again? When we even did it in June, so many people said we should do it every week, every month, every quarter. Because, agribusiness has become a very big conversation in Ghana, economically speaking. We've always said that Ghana is a very agrarian, we use these terms, agrarian economy. We are still operating very much in the primary sector, which means that when we produce, we're not adding much value to it. So we're not getting into secondary economy where we're manufacturing and all that. But you see, part of the problem is that we don't even know what we are producing. And so many of the farmers, backyard gardeners, all these people are producing these agri products in Ghana. Jude, you met them for the first time at AgriFair.
Yeah, I did.
But some of them are producing on such a scale that it makes no sense why we're not feeding what they are producing into, let's say, a poultry manufacturing sector, or a value addition for tomatoes, or for cassava processing. And it's not like we don't have the expertise, because CSIR is there. They've done a lot of research, preservation of the food, so that we're talking now. Glut is a fashionable term, right?
I know.
Everybody got a cassava glut. Everybody has a glut. But those kinds of food gluts also come when there's no proper structure to make sure that what we are producing from the farm, or be it in livestock, vegetables, tubers, grains, whatever, we're either storing them or we are processing them to preserve them or to add value for convenience sake or whatever it is. And so we use tomato paste. It's not very popular in Ghana, even though it's there. In many parts of the world, you have canned tomatoes where they've been parboiled, frozen, the microorganisms that would make them go bad quickly to increase the shelf life. And they are canned in water, brine, whatever, and then you take those and you can use that to make your stew. It's different from the tomato paste, right? So there are all sorts of things. We are not doing that here. So that's one thing. Let's see what we are even producing in the agri sector in the first place to start those conversations. The second thing, and which was a very big reason for doing the AgriFair in the first place, you talk about transportation issues, not having access to some of the produce as consumers, because we can't all drive to Kunkrentumi to go and buy what we want to buy from the farm gate, right? You may not, if you're not, you even find a route to take you there.
True.
And so closing the gap between the farmer, and the producer, and then the buyer, the consumer, was also a very big conversation. So that now, you also need to learn how to do things that work for our system. Let's be honest, Ghanaians, we like convenience.
True.
Especially when you've worked and done, let's say you become middle income or you're on the cusp of it, very aspirational. You want some kind of convenience. It's the reason why we order from Instagram or we tweet, or now we post on X and say, oh, I'm looking for this. And someone comes into your DM and tells you, I have it on offer. They can deliver it to you. And so if you have the phone number of the person who sells the chicken that you need twice a month, then that's a conversation going. So it's also giving us a way of seeing how consumer-producer relations should look like in our context. Not everything can be sitting on a supermarket shelf. Not everybody has the time to go and comb through our traditional markets every weekend. And then even if that's the case, sometimes you want to know who you're buying from. You want that consistency. You want to know where your food is coming from, especially in this era of galamsey, or talking about consumer and all of that.
I know.
So the AgriFair brings the producer and the consumer together. And then the other thing is that there are many people who don't even know where to find their consumers, their potential markets. So they don't necessarily have the disposable income or the marketing budget to put their work or their produce out there. Media buying is expensive, let's be honest. Social media may not give you your full...
That leverage.
No, leverage, you can't. So if you can now meet the people, a platform has been provided, you pay something small, you have a stand, and then regularly there's a fair like this in between. There are smaller ones because there are pop-up farmers markets that are happening around the country, not even just in Accra. And then gradually we're building an ecosystem that can take our agribusiness to the next level. Wow. So that's why we're doing this.
Amazing.
One, to make sure that we can see what Ghanaians are producing in the agri sector. Two, to close the gap between the producer and the consumer. And then three, to make sure that we can build the ecosystem for the sector.
What should patrons expect differently from the first edition that was held in June?
So we got a lot of feedback from the first edition. Things that people wanted to see more of. Things that they wanted to buy more of, and they didn't have that. So we've been very intentional with that feedback in, as people reach out to register for their stands, curating that experience. So before, I mean, yes, we were intentional about it to a large extent. However, maybe people wanted more plantain. We're seeing that people want more of certain grains. People want more things that they can take and now plant in a kitchen pot or something like that. And so as we've received that feedback and people are registering, we're also actively looking for, and that's why we partner with a platform like the Horticultural Business Platform, actively looking for people who are producing these things that consumers are looking for.
Interesting.
That's the first thing. The other thing is that there's going to be a lot more entertainment.
Wow.
Yes, a whole lot more entertainment. So you see that in the evenings, the Ifwa Park will light up a little more, you know, with some vibrancy beyond the buying and selling.
Yeah.
And then we did...
A fun shopping experience.
Exactly. And we did clinics in the first edition, but this time, again, based on feedback for what people seem like they really want to go into agribusiness-wise. We're working with CSIR to sort of build a framework around 4 key business clinics. So there's one for poultry, there's one for piggery, there's one for snail farming, and there's one for fish farming.
Interesting.
And they will not be running concurrently, because that was also part of the feedback, that people said, oh, I wanted to be in this one, but then this one was happening. So when the schedule comes out, and if you do indeed reach out and register for these clinics, they are not free. You have to pay a little token because you have resource people who are coming through and all that. So when you come, you can do both poultry and fish farming, if that's what you're interested in. Right.
Apioko.
No, you got it.
Thank you so much for your time this morning. I'm sure we'll be having conversation all through the week as we build up towards this really great.
But Drew, can I quickly acknowledge our sponsors, please? So
please do.
I mentioned the Horticulture Business Platform.
Yeah.
We also have Development Bank Ghana, DBG, the Legacy Crop Improvement Center.
Yeah.
We have Gersol. We have the Ghana Exim Bank and Agri Impact. And we're supported by the Trillium Industry Company Limited. And so all these people, sponsors, partners will be around. You can also engage them if you're present and you're interested in agribusiness.
Interesting. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for
guys, the word is out there. Spread the message. AgriFair 2.0 happening on the 28th to the 29th to the 30th. 3 days of exciting, right? Apioko promises us that beyond the shopping experience, it's also going to be fun-filled, and you know what that means.